Hi everyone, I welcome you all for this video lecture. Today we are going to see grammars. So the grammars starts in the third unit. So unit 3 we are going to discuss about the concept of grammars in automata theory. So this goes for that introductions to automata theory. So unit 3. So third year BTech students for first semester. Now let's go for see the grammars. The grammar is a 4 tuple. Before we are going to start this one, what is the grammar or what is the use? Why we have to study about that grammar? So grammar which is used to describe the notations like syntactic structures of a programming languages. So programming languages, all we know that like C, C++, Java, there are many programming languages are there. So these programming languages, we are going to describe the syntactic and semantic structures by using the concept of the grammar. So the grammar that consists of 4 tuples. So generally the grammar that consists of 4 tuples, the grammar is denoted as G. G that stands for grammar, where this grammar that consists of 4 tuples, G equals V, T, P, S. So these 4 are the tuples V, T, P, S, where V that stands for non-empty set of non-terminal symbols. That is very important here, non-terminal symbols. And where T that stands for finite set of terminal symbols. And P is nothing but it is a finite non-empty set of production rules, and S that stands for start symbol. So there are 4 tuples in the grammar. The grammar which is used to the phrase structure, the syntactic structures, where these 4 tuples in this grammar, V that stands for a variable. V that stands for variable, that is called as a non-terminal symbols. Is a finite non-empty set of non-terminal symbols. Likewise, T. T is a finite set of terminal symbols, and P that stands for finite set of production rules, and S that stands for a start symbol. So the grammar is mainly composed of 2 elements. First one thing is that first we are going to learn about what is terminals. What is terminals? So these terminals are, symbols are, that is constitutes the sentence generated using the grammar. The constitute the sentence generated the grammar, and the terminal symbols are denoted by using small case letters such as A, B, C, etc. like that. That is a lower case letters, where these lower case letters we can call it as a terminal symbols. For example, we can take A to Z. A to Z is the terminal symbols. Likewise, numerics 0 to 9 is the terminal symbols, and all arithmetic operators like plus, minus, multiplication, division, and there are some special characters also there, that is the open parenthesis and closed parenthesis, comma, etc. So these are all the symbols that is called as a terminal symbols. We can call this as a terminal symbols. So terminal symbols are that here it is mentioned small case letters such as A, B, C, etc. That's it alone they mention. Whereas apart from that, there are the letters like lowercase a to z and 0 to 9 and all arithmetic operators, and then some special characters like open parenthesis, closed parenthesis and comma likewise. So these are all the symbols we can used in the grammars, that is called as a terminal symbols. So next tuple is that non-terminal symbols. So we can go for see about that non-terminal symbols. So what are all the non-terminal symbols? Similarly, what we have seen in this terminal, the same, that is the non-terminal symbols, that also generations of sentence, that is also generations of sentence, but the symbols which take part in the generations of the sentences. So these symbols also called as a auxiliary symbols. We can also call it as a auxiliary symbols, and also we can call it as a variables. Non-terminals also we can call it as a variables, where these symbols are using capital letters. These symbols are using in capital letters such as A, B, C, etc. So apart from that, we can go for that A, B, C and X, Y, Z, U, B, W. So all these uppercase letters, or we can call this as a variables. All uppercase letters we can call this as a non-terminal symbols. So terminal symbol means always it represents the lowercase letters, whereas the uppercase letters means all the uppercase letters are non-terminal symbols. Also we can call this as a variables. Now let's we go for see the next. The examples of the grammar. The examples of the grammar. The first we are going to see about this grammar. We can take this grammar. The given grammar G equals V, T, P, S. So far we know what is variable and what is terminals. V, that stands for variables. Variables always written in uppercase letters. Terminals always become a lowercase letters. So let's we take that one, this given grammar variable that equals S. Variable equals S, where S is the set of non-terminals. In this one here, it is S only is the non-terminal symbols. Likewise, terminal symbols, where these terminal symbols T that equals A, B, where terminal symbols T equals A, B, that is called as a set of terminal symbols. The next tuple is that production rule. So the production rule which is denoted by P. So that P that equals, where the S is the non-terminal symbol. So the non-terminal symbols in this productions in that left hand side. So S is the starting symbol. So S is the start symbol. So S that stands for start symbol. So we can write like that. Yes, where S is that start symbol. Now let's we go see about these productions. So the productions in the form of S implies A, S, B, S. This is the production number 1. We can numbering it. This is the production number 1 and this is the production number 3. 1, 2, 3 likewise. So this is the left side of this productions and this is the right side of this productions. Whereas this left side of these productions always belongs to a single non-terminal. The left side of this productions always belongs to a single non-terminal. So the right side of this production is combinations of both terminal and non-terminal. So look at this. The first is the terminal. A is a lowercase terminal where S is an uppercase. Where S is an uppercase. Then followed by B, where B is a terminal symbols. Again it's followed by the uppercase letter S. So this is the form of productions. This is we can call it as a productions, where this non-terminal have alternate productions. That is the production number 2. The S have alternate productions again. S implies B terminal and non-terminal is S, and followed by A, again followed by the non-terminal S. Similarly, we will take this production, third production S, where S implies that is a epsilon. So epsilon that stands for the empty. So this is the form of the productions rule, where this production rule that contains left hand side always become a single non-terminal, and right side that contains both terminal and non-terminal combinations, so that we can call this as a variables. So it contains both the terminals and non-terminals. So this grammar generate the strings having equal number of A's and B's. So this grammar that generate that equal number of A's and B's. So the string that consisting of the language that consisting of strings, where the strings contains A and B. A and B. So we can go for apply this productions recursively, then we can find what are the strings which is generated by this grammar. So now let's we go for see the production number 1. Let's we take this production number 1, where this P, where this production number 1, that means S gives A, S, B, S. A, S, B, S. So we have the third production, that is an epsilon. So we can go for substitute this epsilon into the production number 1. So we may get S gives A. Instead of S, we are going to substitute this epsilon, that is a empty B and epsilon. So we may get this production. So epsilon means that is an empty. So remaining things we have only AB. So this one it is going to generate the strings like AB. Similarly, now let's we take the second production. S tends to B, S, A, S. Again, we can go for take this S production epsilon and substitute here B, epsilon, A, epsilon. Then we may get B, A. So we have to replace the epsilon symbol into these productions. But there is a one condition is there, that is we have to replace only one non-terminal at a time. So we cannot replace at a time. So two non-terminals are there. So for these two non-terminals we can replace this two epsilon symbol. So we cannot do like this. So but we have to do this one step by step. Okay. Now let's say I am going to do this one again. I take this first production. S implies A, S, B, S. For S, A the same. Only we have to replace the non-terminal symbols. So terminal symbols we cannot replace, only for non-terminals. So we can take this first S. The first S we can go for substituting this epsilon followed by B followed by non-terminal S. Then the next step we have to replace that next non-terminal like this. Then finally we can write these productions A, B. So what is that? We can take this first production and applying this third. Similarly, we can take this next production S tends to B, S, A, S. B, S, A, S. We can go for substitute. B, epsilon, A, S. Next, B, epsilon, A, epsilon. Then finally we can get B, A. So what are the strings are generated? Here AB, here BA. So this grammar generate the strings having equal number of A's and B's. So we have equal number of A's and equal number of B's. More than that, we can go for substitute this same productions, like we have taken the first production, second production and apply this third. Instead of that, we can take this first production where S tends to A, S, B, S. Substitute the second productions into the first. I repeat, this is the first production and this is the second production and this is the third productions. You have to substitute these two into one. So now let's we go for that A. For this first S, we can go for write this production B, S, A, S, then B, S. So we can go for replacing this S into like this. So the next step, A, B, this S already have replaced S, A, S, this B, then we can have S. Already this S is existing. Now we can go for applying the third rule into the first. So what we can A, B, epsilon, A, epsilon, B, epsilon. Then A, B, A, B. So how many A's are there? A squared, likewise B squared. That means of what? It is 2 number of A's and 2 number of B's. That is equal number of A's and equal number of B's, like that. So we may get equal number of A's and equal number of B's. So what we have to do in this one, we have to apply these productions in one into another. That is recursively we can go for applying that one, this grammar that generate the set of strings like this. Again you can go for substitute. Again and again if you go for substitute, then we may get another. Likewise we can substitute this S and this also we can substitute, and finally we may get more number of A's and more number of B's, where both having equal numbers, like A and B both are having equal numbers of A and equal number of B's, right? Now let's we go for see this one. We can take this another one productions. So consider the grammar G. We may go for another productions. Consider the grammar G that equals V, T, P, S. V that stands for variable and T that stands for terminal symbols, and P is a productions and S is a starting symbol, start symbol. So we may write this one, a variable is a set of non-terminals. So the given grammar where variable is three non-terminals are there, like S, A, B. And second, where the set of terminal symbols like A, B. Set of terminal symbols A, B. The given productions. This is the production rule. This given production rule. P, that is the production rule. S implies A, B, A. S implies A, B, A, where this A is a non-terminal symbols. So, this non-terminal that have alternate productions B, B, where B is a non-terminal symbols, where B implies A, B, terminal symbols, and A also there, where A is also yield that B. So, this is the different type of grammar. At very beginning I told you that the left hand side of this grammar always belongs to a single non-terminal. Okay, the left side of the symbol always belongs to a single non-terminal. That means only one uppercase letters. Whereas in this grammar, in the left hand side, there are two non-terminal symbols are occurring. That is A. Okay, so we can take this one A. So this is that another one type of that grammar. So the grammar have different types. Grammar have different types of grammar or different classes of grammars is in that. So this is that another type of this grammar. Okay. Now, let's we go for the types of the grammar. So, what are the types of the grammar? So, here classifications of the grammar. So, the types of the grammar on the basis of or type of production rule, we have four types of grammars. We have four types of grammar. Type 0 grammar. Type 0 grammar, that is unstructured grammar. We can type 0 grammar, we can call this as a unstructured grammar. Similarly, for type 1 grammar, context sensitive grammar. Context sensitive grammar. And type 2 grammar is that context free grammar. And type 3 is that regular grammar. So, I repeat this one. The grammar has four types of grammars are there. These four types based on the production rule. Based on the production rule, we can classify this grammar into four types. So, we can write as a type 0 grammar. So, type 0 grammar or phrase unstructured grammar. We can call it as a phrase unstructured grammar. And next, type 1 grammar or context sensitive grammar. Next one is that type 2 grammar or context free grammar. And fourth one is the type 3 grammar or regular grammar. So, these are the types of the grammar. So, these types we will going to see elaborately in the slides. And apart from that, we have on the basis of number of derivations also we can go for classify this grammar. So, this grammar has ambiguous grammar and unambiguous grammar based on the number of derivations. Whereas, this one based on that production rules, where this one is the number of derivations. Okay. And one more thing, on the basis of number of strings, we can go for that recursive grammar, and another one is that non-recursive grammar. So, number of strings based. It is basis on the number of strings we can go for classified as recursive grammar and non-recursive grammar. So, this is that the classifications of grammars based on the productions rule or based on the derivations or based on the number of strings. We can classify the grammars into different kinds. Next, we can go for see this grammars. So first we can go for see that equivalence grammar. What is that called as an equivalent grammar? The two grammars are said to be equivalent. They generated the same language. They generated the same language. Where already you know about that. What is the language? So the language is nothing but a set of strings. Language that generated the set of strings. So these productions rules are generated or derived. We can derive the set of strings from this productions rule, where these two grammars said to be equivalent. They are generated the same language. Let's be going to see this example. There are two grammars, G1, G2. Just I name here G1, G2. Likewise, two grammars are given here, where S implies A, S, B or epsilon. That means of what? We have two productions of S. One is S implies A, S, B, and another one S production has epsilon. So we can write the productions either this form or this form. Both are same meaning. So what is that? The S is a production where this S production have two alternate productions are there. One is called ASB or epsilon. Otherwise, we can rewrite these productions in this form. S tends to ASB and S gives epsilon. Okay. Similarly, for this productions also, where S tends to or S implies A, capital A, B or epsilon. Likewise, A implies small a, capital A, B or epsilon. So, this S productions also having two alternative productions are there, where A also contains that first alternative and this one is the second alternative. So, alternative productions. So, we can write these productions either alternatively or this manner, both are same meaning. But what now we are going to see in this one, if both languages or the both grammars that generated the strings, if these strings are same, then we can call this as a equivalent grammar. When the grammar is said to be equivalent, the grammar is said to be equivalent if both grammars that generate that same strings or languages. So we can take it as a language. Language is nothing but a set of strings. Now, these both grammars that generate the same languages, that is called languages are written in the form of L. Languages is written in the form of L equals so first we will go for substitute these productions, right? We can take the first grammar, we can take this first grammar, S tends to A, S, B, and we can go for A replacing the S by epsilon. So, epsilon B, so epsilon is denoted as a empty string. So, we may get this grammar that generate the string AB, and suppose one more type where S tends to A, S, B, we can take the first production. Again, you can go for replacing that one A. So instead of this yes, you can apply these yes. Again, A, yes, B and B. So I just get it for this one. From this yes. Now, suppose I am going to replace the non-terminal yes by epsilon. So then I get A epsilon B B. So after removing that, we may get A B B. Here A power 1 B power 1. Here we can take it as A squared B squared. That's A power 2 B power 2. Likewise, if you go for applying recursively, then we may get these strings. Okay, so we may get the strings, that is AA B AB or AA BB. Likewise, it is recursively, we can get it like that. Now, I am going to take the second grammar. So the second grammar, what is the second grammar? S tends to small a, capital A, B. Right? Where the non-terminal is what? Capital A. So capital A is the non-terminal. So this non-terminal having one more production is an epsilon. So I am going to replace that epsilon. Then I may get AB. This is the string. I derived the strings from this one. Suppose in alternatively, if I take S tends to A, B, we can take this one, this productions. The same as it is, you have to write. Instead of this A, I am going to replace this one. What is that? A, B. This B already is existing. Now, it is going to replace this A by epsilon. So I may go for replacing that one. AA epsilon BB. Then I may get AA BB. What is the meaning of this? This meaning is that A squared B squared. A squared B squared. So what we can come to these conclusions, both grammar G1 and G2 that generate the same strings, that is number of A's followed by number of B's. So we have to write the language. So we have to write the language. So the language is written in the form of L. So the L that stands for language, the language that consists of A power n, B power n, A power n, B power n, because we may get this language. What is that? We can get AB, AA, BB, likewise. Or else if you go for applying recursively, then we may get the strings like that order. So in this case, what will be coming here? Okay, so we may get A power n, B power n, where n is greater than or equals 0. A power n, B power n, where n is greater than or equal to 0. So this is that language. So we have to write the language. This is the format. In the formal way, we can write the language like this. L equals A, the strings that consisting of number of A's and followed by number of B's, where this n is greater than or equals 0. So thus the language of G1 and language of G2, both grammars, they generate the same language. Therefore, they are equivalent. So the grammar is said to be equivalent. So I hope everyone is understanding that when the grammar is said to be equivalent, if both grammars that generate the same strings or the same languages. So, if it is the same languages, then we can call it as a L of G1 equal to L of G2. That means equivalence of that grammar, right? Now, let's we go for that, the grammar based on the productions. So, already I told you, right, that is a type 0, where this type 0 means is a unrestricted grammar. So, this grammar is recognized by the Turing machine. Turing is an author of that automata theory. The Turing that designed the machine. So, that machine that is recognized by the unrestricted grammar. Unrestricted grammar means what? It is that there is no any conditions, both the left side of these productions or right side of these productions. And type 1 grammar, it is a context sensitive grammar, where this context sensitive grammar, it is the automation by linear bounded automation. Similarly, for type 2 grammar is a context free grammar. We can abbreviated form, we can write CFG, context free grammar, CFG. So, abbreviated form, it is a CFG, context free grammar. It is, you are going to use the machine by push down automation. And type 3 grammar, so this is the regular grammar. Type 3 grammar is also called as a regular grammar and is finite state automation that accepting that this regular grammar. Now, let's we go for see these types of grammars in elaborately. First, type 0 grammar. So, the type 0 grammar, this type 0 grammar generated recursively enumerable languages. So, and main thing is that there is no restrictions. No restrictions in the sense what? It is both left hand side and right hand side. The productions, there is no restrictions. So, they generated the languages that are recognized by Turing machines. These grammars which is generated the languages, those languages are recognized by the Turing machine. So, we have to go for that no restriction, that is a type 0 grammar generated recursively enumerable languages. So, this production have no restrictions. That is the main important point here, type 0 grammar, there is no restrictions. So, in this case, the example, we can take this production S tends to A, C, A, B, right? The left hand side, this is the left hand side of this productions. This is the left hand side of this productions, LHS, and this part is that right side of this production, that is the right hand side of this productions. But this left side of this productions that contains, there is no structure. So, we may have BC, then here only B only having. We cannot go for substitute this one. And next one thing we have CB. So, C here and B here. Likewise, B was here. Likewise, DB, then we can go for AD, DB likewise. So, if we go for applying these things, then it will generate more number of strings like that. But it's an enumerable one where the terminals and non-terminals. So, we have these productions in the form of A gives alpha, or beta. That very important here. Alpha gives beta. Alpha gives beta. So alpha belongs to a left hand side and beta belongs to right hand side. Alpha belongs to the left hand side and beta belongs to that right hand side. So whereas the alpha is a string of terminals and non-terminals. This alpha is string of terminals. String of terminals and non-terminals with at least one non-terminal, and alpha cannot be a null. That is a very important. Alpha cannot be a null. So alpha does not become a null. So this is the type 0 grammar, and this productions in the form like that. Next we can going to see about this type 1 grammar, that is called as a context sensitive grammar. Type 1 grammar, in another term we can call this as a context sensitive grammar. Context sensitive grammar. So it generates the language, it is a context sensitive language where this productions in the form of alpha A beta. Alpha A beta implies alpha gamma beta. So the productions in the form of alpha A beta implies alpha gamma beta, where the condition is where the A is a non-terminal that belongs to the N, that is a non-terminal, and alpha beta gamma belongs to that terminal union non-terminal. So what I hear, the N that stands for that non-terminal, that is terminal union non-terminal. So this alpha beta gamma, this alpha beta gamma belongs to a strings, the string consisting of both terminals and non-terminals. That's what that I mentioned, that's a clean closure, that is multiple number of, that is 0 or more occurrences of that terminals union non-terminals. Okay, so the strings alpha and beta may be empty. There is another one chance is there, another one condition is there, it also become that empty. So it is also empty means we can denote it by the epsilon. But gamma must be non-empty. So this gamma must be a non-empty one. Okay, so this is type of grammar is that type 1 grammar. Let's we see the example. So let's we see this grammar A, B. So the rule is, what is the given here the rule? S implies epsilon is allowed if S does not appear on the right hand side. That very very important point. If S does not appear on the right side of any rule, then the language generated by these grammars are recognized by linear bounded automation. It is linear bounded automations. So the example says AB implies A, B, B, C. That is combinations of both terminals T union non-terminals N. Okay. So if it is comes in this form of 0 or more occurrences of this terminal union non-terminals. So we have a non-terminals, terminal, non-terminal, terminal likewise. And this A that implies B, C, A, and B that implies small b likewise. So this type of grammar is a type 1 grammar. Okay, this type of grammar is a type 1 grammar. Now, let's be going to see about this type 2 grammar. So, the type 2 grammar, that is also we can call it as a context free grammar. We can call it as a CFG. In abbreviated form, we can call it as a CFG. So, CFG, that stands for context free grammar, where the productions in the form of A gives gamma, where A belongs to a non-terminal and gamma belongs to a terminal union non-terminal, that is string of terminals and non-terminals. So, it is comes under the closure properties, that is 0 or more occurrences of terminals and non-terminals. So, these languages generated by these grammars are to be recognized by a deterministic push-down automata. So, it is recognized by that push-down automata. So, regarding this push-down automata, we are going to see in this upcoming classes. We are going to learn about what is the push-down automata and all those things. Okay. Now, let's go for see this example. Type 2 grammar. See, S gives X A. X A, where X implies a terminal symbol. Likewise, X gives AX and X gives ABC and X gives epsilon. So, what is that here? The left hand side. So, alpha implies beta. Alpha implies that beta, where alpha belongs to that single non-terminal, belongs to single non-terminal. See, the left hand side of these productions, all these productions that contains only a single non-terminal. So, right hand side may be combinations of terminals union non-terminals. So, terminal non-terminals, terminals, non-terminals, terminals, only for terminals and empty. So, the right hand side may be in the form of both terminals and non-terminals in that form. That is a type 2 grammar. This type 2 grammars also we can call it as a context free grammar. In abbreviated form, we can call it as a CFG. Next, we can go for seeing this type 3 grammars. So, type 3 grammars are called as a regular grammar. So, the grammar which is generated the strings it is recognized by the regular languages, the strings which are recognized by the regular languages. So, type 3 grammars or regular grammar. So, either both are same meaning, either type 3 grammar or regular grammar must have a single non-terminal on the left hand side, very, very important, single non-terminal on the left hand side, and right hand side that consisting of single terminal or single terminal followed by a single non-terminal. The right hand side that contains a single terminal or followed by non-terminal symbol. So, this is called as a type 3 grammar or regular grammar. Now, let's be going to see about that examples of type 3 grammars. So, in this type 3 grammars, where the left hand side is X, where X belongs to a single non-terminal, and right side of this production is terminal symbols, or the same X belongs to single non-terminal, that implies terminal followed by non-terminal. Okay, so where X comma Y and belongs to that non-terminals and A belongs to that terminal, the rule S gives epsilon is allowed, where S become an, where S means that is the left hand side of this productions. S is a, epsilon is allowed if S does not appear on the right side of that any rule, where S is the start symbol. Okay, so S is that start symbol where the S does not appear on the right side of the any rule. Okay, so we'll take this one. This S means X equals epsilon. Epsilon is allowed. What is the condition? It does not appear on the right side of any rule. So the X does not appear right side of that any rule. So as per this condition, it's satisfying this condition, then the type 3 grammar is said to be a regular grammar. Now, let's be going to see about that linear grammar. So, what is called as a linear grammar? A linear grammar is a context-free grammar. Linear grammar is a context-free grammar. At most, one non-terminal in the right hand side. The right hand side of this production, at most one non-terminal. Right hand side, each of its productions, and each productions at least only one non-terminal on that right hand side. So what is the meaning they are telling here? Suppose if I have a production S tends to small a, capital A. So a grammar in this form where X equals small a, capital A, where the A is a non-terminal. Suppose this X belongs to B. Likewise, in this case, okay, in this case we can go for denoted like this is the single non-terminal. This production number 1 and I have production number 2. In both productions where A and B is a non-terminal, so the right hand side that contains only single non-terminal, not more than one. So suppose if I have X tends to A, small a, capital A, then if I have B, means it is not correct, because two non-terminals are appearing on the right hand side. Okay, so it is not correct. This is the correct, because the right hand side of this production is belongs to right side of contains only a non-terminal. There is only one non-terminal. So at most one non-terminals in the right hand side of this each of its that productions. Okay, so then this grammar is called as a linear grammar. So this grammar may generate the strings. So the strings, it is called as a language, where the linear language is a language generated by the linear grammar. Generated by the linear grammar. For example, the simple linear grammar is G, where N is a non-terminal. Non-terminal is only for S, and the sigma is a set of input symbols A, B, and P is a production rule with start symbol S and the rules in the form of likewise S tends to A, S, B, where S tends to epsilon. This is the given productions. So we have to answer that whether this grammar is a linear grammar or not. So this given grammar is a linear grammar because it satisfies the conditions. So what is the condition? The right side of this production, the right hand side of this production, at most one single non-terminal S. So this grammar is become a linear grammar. So the grammar is said to be a linear grammar because the right hand side of this production that contains at most one single non-terminal symbols, then the grammar is said to be a linear grammar. Example, let's we see this one. Here is the linear grammar because all these grammars, in this grammar, all these productions, the right hand side A belongs to single non-terminal symbols only. There is no more non-terminals. Likewise, here B and another one B. So, both are non-terminal symbols. These non-terminal symbols are only one non-terminal symbols in the right hand side of these productions. So, this grammar or this grammar is said to be a linear grammar. Okay. And second thing is that next we can go for that. There are two special types of linear grammars. One is called as a left linear or left regular grammar, and second one is called as a right linear or right regular grammar. Left linear grammar or left regular grammar, and another thing is a right linear grammar or right regular grammar. So, now let's we go for see that what is the left linear or left regular. A grammar in which all non-terminals in the right hand side are at the left end. It's very important here, at this left end. If this right hand side of this production, in this right side of this production, the non-terminals in the right hand side are at the left end. Left end means what? For example, if I have x equal to a, b, c, is a linear grammar. Okay. Similarly, if I have b, a, c, so what is that? Right hand side of this production. So, right hand side. Okay, the non-terminals are at the left hand side. So, here at the left, the B is becoming that left. So, we can say is a left linear or left regular grammar. Similarly, if we have the grammar, all non-terminals in right hand sides are at the right ends. For example, S tends to A, S, where S tends to B. What is here? We can take this example for right linear grammar. Yes, the S is appearing on the right end of the right hand side. Right end of that right hand side. So, the grammar is a right linear grammar or right regular grammar. Whereas, suppose if this grammar is S tends to A like that and S tends to B like this, it is a left linear grammar. This is called as a left linear grammar and this one is a right linear grammar. So, look at this example, the non-terminal symbols. So, non-terminal symbols always occurs on the left hand side. Now, it is a left linear because A is a non-terminal which occurs on the beginning, that means first on the right side. Okay. And right linear grammars, all non-terminals in the right hand side or at the right end. Okay. See here for right linear grammar, this terminal, terminal, terminal like that. These are all the terminals A, B, A terminal, where capital A is a non-terminal. So, in this right side of this production, where the A that comes at the end on the right hand side, then the grammar is said to be a right regular grammar or right linear grammar. Okay. right linear grammar and left linear grammar. Suppose another one conditions also there. That is another special type of linear grammar is linear grammars in which all non-terminals in right hand side are the left or right ends, but not necessarily at all the same end. So this type of grammars also that it's need not to become in the left hand side or need not to become in the right hand side also that. Okay, either left or right ends, but not necessarily all at the same end. Okay. Okay, now we are going to inserting a new non-terminals for every linear grammar can be brought in this form of without affecting the language generated. For instance, the rules of this grammar G can be replaced. See, S tends to small a, capital A. What type of grammar? A is a non-terminal. The non-terminal comes at the end. So, we can call this as a right linear grammar. Right linear grammar. Here, non-terminal S. S comes in that left. So, it is that left linear grammar. So, the grammar have this production set of these productions. So, these productions has combinations both either it in the left hand side or it in the right hand side. So, it will come in the mixed mode. So, this type of also that is called as a mixed mode of that one because both right linear and left linear, that is another special type. So, this case we can see that the mixing of left regular and right regular is allowed, still we have a linear grammar. So, this grammar have a linear grammar but not necessarily is a regular one. Such a grammar need not generate a regular language. So, those type of grammars not generated the regular languages. Okay. Now, let's we go for see this one. The example for this S tends to is the non-terminal symbols. So, non-terminal means S, A is a non-terminal, an input symbol that consists of A, B and P is a productions. The start symbol is S. So, the given grammar is S tends to small a, capital A and A tends to capital S, small b, where S tends to epsilon. So, we can go for applying that small a, capital A. Then small a, instead of capital A, we can going to replace that SB, right? A, capital S, I may go for replacing this epsilon. So, what is the string is generated? AB. Again, I will go for applying the same. S tends to small a, capital A, where S tends to small a. Instead of A, I can go for replacing this SB. Then A, instead of S, I may go for replacing this small a, capital A, small a, capital A followed by B. Okay. Now, A for capital A, again I replace that SB, B. Then I am going to replace the S by epsilon, that is an empty. So, I may get A, epsilon, B. That means it is at A, B. So, 1AB, 2A, 2B. So, that is the number of A's and number of B's. So we can write this languages that L equals A power I followed by B power I, right, where this I value is greater than or equal to 0. This is what we are written here. Generate this A power I, B power I, where I value is greater than 0. But non-regular linear language. This language is a non-regular linear language. Why? Because it is not a left linear, it is not a right linear, because from this given productions, it is a mixed type. It is the mixed type of left linear and right linear, whereas this productions or this grammar, if generate the languages, then is called as a, this is not, the non-regular linear languages. So we can call this as a non-regular linear languages. Next we can go for the same. Explaining this grammar is defined as a VTPS, set of symbols, variables. Just we can go for recalling this variable TPS like that. And if you have the productions A gives W, where A is a variable that is on the left hand side and W is the right hand side. So these productions are in this form, where if I give like this the productions, then we can go for substituting this one where S tends to 0, A or 0, where A tends to 1, 0, A likewise. If we go for substituting this A, S tends to 0, A or 0. So we can go for replacing 0. Instead of this A, we can replace that 1, 0, A. 0, 1, 0. Again, A means no other way. We can go for replacing that 1, 0, A likewise. It is going on like that. So what is coming? First 0, then followed by 1, 0, 1, 0. Again, if you go for applying that, again you may get 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, A like that. So if you go for applying recursively, so the string is beginning with 0, okay, then followed by 1, 0 is number of times. So we can write this regular expressions in the form of 0 followed by 1, 0 power star. That indicates what? 0 followed by 1, 0, 0 followed by 1, 0, 1, 0, 0 followed by 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. So these are all the strings which is generated. So by this grammar, so we can write this regular expressions in this form of 0 followed by 1, 0 closure. That is a power, that is indicates 0 or more occurrences, 0 or more occurrences. Okay. So in case if it is the grammar as given, then we can go for construct the regular expressions, because once the grammar is given, what is the regular expression? So once the regular expression is given, what is the DFA and what is the NFA? Likewise, we can go for seeing this one. In upcoming classes, we are going to see more about that grammars and how it is related with that finite automata and equivalence of this grammar with the finite automata we are going to see in this upcoming classes. Thank you.